We're joined by FS1 NBA analyst Chris Broussard. Welcome, Chris.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How soon do you think Embiid will play?
I mean, look, none of us are doctors. We have to wait and see on that. Obviously, he has to go through contact in terms of practice. Yesterday, practice went through some drills. If he goes through contact today, then he'll probably play Thursday. Look, I wouldn't be surprised, and I think it might be smart if Philadelphia erred on the side of caution and maybe wait till Saturday in Game 4 to play him. Let's look at this, the unified part. I do believe Brett Brown. Now, I believe Embiid is frustrated. He's upset. He's ultra competitive. He had no problem after Game 1 when they won. It was Game 2 when they lost. He knew he could have made a difference. So that's all this is. It's a young, sometimes immature guy voicing his opinion. But believe that Brian Colangelo, the president, Brett Brown, the coach, Leon Rose, Embiid's agent, they are in cahoots, on the same page, working this thing out. And they have to be careful because people are saying it's not a knee, it's not an ankle, get out there and play. This is the second eye injury he's had to that left eye. When he was at Kansas, he got hit in practice. He played, he wore goggles, but he played. I'm just saying the eye is not something to fool around with, especially if you've been injured there twice. You could end up with double vision if you get the wrong type of shot there. And Miami does have big physical, sometimes flailing players, a Kelly Olynyk, a Hassan Whiteside, a James Johnson. So, I'm just saying if he's ready and cleared for Game 3, great. But don't rush him back, and I really don't think they will.
I think it looks to me that Philly is more concerned with the next 10 years as opposed to the next 10 weeks. And you mentioned that Amari Stoudemire was forced to wear goggles. Kareem basically wore them his entire career because he got poked in the eye and ended up having to wear them. Skip, he's their best player. And when the shots aren't falling, he's a guy, go get on the block, they can dump it down to him, and nobody has an answer for him. And what we saw from Game 1, they were hitting shots, Skip. We knew they couldn't keep that up. You can't keep falling out of bounds, throwing up 28-foot shots and swishing. Now they came back. Ilyasova was terrible. Bellinelli couldn't get anything to fall. Covington couldn't get anything to fall. J.J. Redick couldn't get anything to fall. So now they've turned themselves into a three-point shooting team. And when shots won't fall, they got to keep shooting, hoping they fall, as opposed to having Embiid on the court. Skip, they're outscoring people by 11 points per 100 possession when he's on the court. They're better in every statistical category with him on the court as opposed to him being off the court. But they got too much invested in him. Your first 3 years, Joel, you played 31 games. Now, you bump that up to 63 this year, they're gradually taking off the training wheels. And then you got this freak injury. Granted, trying to set a pick, the guy bobbled the ball, hits you with his shoulder, fracture your eye. For me, I had this very injury, Chris, to my left eye. Now, I missed the final 3 weeks of the season. Now, the doctor told me it was going to be somewhere between 3 and 6 weeks. It would have been interesting to see had I done it at the beginning of the year or the middle of the year, Skip, to see if I could have come back and played. I did end up playing in the Pro Bowl that year, but that 7 weeks had passed. So it would have been very, very interesting to see had I could I have played. But, Skip, they need him. They can't win this series without him.
You don't think
I don't believe they can.
I think they could. I'm not saying they would, but I think they could. And they could certainly win Game 3. And even if you lose Game 3, it's 2-1. Right. They still have to beat you 2 more times, presumably with your best player.
So you just sit him out Thursday and then play him Saturday?
If there's any question. Okay. If he's cleared and ready and the doctors are like, he's good, then I'd play him Game 3.
They can win the series without him.
You believe they can?
Yep, but they need him now because he clearly wants to play now. And I don't think this is childish overreaction on his part. I just think he sat on the bench thinking, I'm 100% right. I'm going to have to wear this mask, but I can do this. And I'm going to remind you, we're not talking about an internal eye injury. You've had this. It's external. It's like a facial bone injury more than it's an internal eye injury. What he got swiped in the eye at Kansas, well, that's really dangerous because it's inside.
Yeah.
Okay, I got that. But this wasn't that.
Yeah.
And again, you made this point, but it's not his foot that they're scared to death of. They think he's a ticking time bomb just with his foot because he's got the, if
Big
you
man
wanna go
disease.
Bill Walton
Bill.
or whatever, where it could prematurely end his career.
Ilgauskas.
They are, it's terrible. All of the 7
Rick
foot
Smith.
gloves.
And
Yep.
Ilgauskas came back, though,
He did.
fortunately.
He came back.
Yeah.
But in this case, they monitor the minutes more for the foot and to a certain extent the back more than they would for this. So he's been around for a while. As you said, he hadn't played very much over the last 3 years. But the point is, he's begging to play. He's saying, I'm ready to play. Why won't you let me play? And I was shocked they didn't at least let him play a few minutes at home as opposed to maybe on the road the next 2 games. So I'm with him, and I don't understand their team mentality here. Are they still trusting the long-term process? Is that what we're doing? Are they game planning for next year and the next year as opposed to right now? To me, the time is now. Now, I picked them to win the East because I keep telling you they remind me of the 1992 Dallas Cowboys, who nobody thought could break through that year, and they broke through a year early just because they were so immensely talented. They made one huge trade right before the season started. They got Charles Haley away from San Francisco, and that put them over the top. But Troy, Emmett, Michael, everybody said, well, they're too young. Well, no, they arrived, and this team felt like, and winning 17 straight games, with the additions of Bellinelli and Ilyasova, not that they're like Charles Haley, but if you throw them, but they're, it gave them veteran presence that they had not had, and all of a sudden they look like the time is now. To me, that's how it feels.
Here's the thing, Skip. The process was we're tanking so we can get better players. That's the process. Now you got those players. It's time to put it to fruition. You got Ben Simmons. You got Joel Embiid. So all that tanking, winning 10 games, not playing some of your better players so you be in better position to get those balls. Okay, that was the process. Now let's see that process come to fruition by letting Joel Embiid get on the court. And look, when you're an athlete, you're ultra competitive, and you like seeing your team do well, but you believe they can always do better if you're in the game. He's like,
I got it. But if I'm running the franchise, I sit back from this and say, wait a second. Is he going to be okay? I think he's going to be okay. He says he's 100%.
No, Skip, you can't think in this situation. Okay. You better know.
Okay?
Yeah.
But if you look at the bigger picture right now, maybe I should say look at the little picture right now. They just beat the Cavaliers twice, back-to-back. They just won home court over the Cavaliers. Could they beat the Cavaliers in a 7-game series? Sure they could. But they need Joel Embiid to do that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I think to answer your question, if it came down to win or lose this series or have Embiid fine going forward, I think they clearly would answer going forward.
Oh, absolutely.
Remember, they just gave him the 5 years, $148 million. And even for him, because obviously that contract had, you got to play a certain number of games, stay healthy. So for him, that's better too. And I just don't think a 2-1 hole, I get it, you certainly want to win game 3. It's pivotal. But they could dig themselves out of a 2-1 hole with Embiid.
Yeah.
And I think if he doesn't play tomorrow, I think he's definitely playing Saturday. So I just wouldn't rush him back. I'm with you. Look, he feels like he's ready, but I don't think you can take his word either. I think you have to, because he's young and impulsive, and he wants to play.
Strong word that he posted, man. Tired of being
Yeah, but
baby.
he's like that. He's young. He is impulsive.
But here's the thing, though, Skip. To do what they couldn't play to him back-to-back. They couldn't play him back-to-back games. He played an overtime game and he missed like 5. He played a double overtime game against OKC, Skip, and I think he missed next 2 or 3 games.
Foot.
Well, look, big guys and feet, they don't normally get better. Foot and knees for a big guy, Skip. And he's not skinny like Ilgauskas. Dude, almost 300. He got to be 300 pounds. So
big man.
Yeah.
Well.
Sounds like Philly's just a little nervous about the Heat. That's all.
No, look at
I think the last part of the equation is the Heat. Of everything on their list.
She got a Heat jersey. Got Biscayne Barbie on the back of it.
I have 2 Heaters specific. Chris, thanks for joining us. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.